Hi, everybody, and welcome to Life at Complex. My name is James Bender. I'm a production coordinator for Complex Brand Partnership Studio here on the East Coast and also the East Coast chair of the Complex Black ERG. I just want to give a huge shout out to Tony for allowing myself and my team here to basically just talk and just take over, Life at Complex on today. To get into who will be joining me today, Sam Hoggs, who is a media planner from the West Coast, Melissa Tropinis, who is on the East Coast here with myself, who is a project manager under Brand Partnership Studios here, and also Ashley Germain, who is an executive assistant on the East Coast and also on the team for Complex Black. And myself and the team, we're just gonna have a conversation on redefining professionalism and staying professionally engaged in the wake of, George Floyd's murder, as well as Breonna Taylor and everyone else who has been impacted during this time. Can we just breathe for a minute? It's been a year. Kobe died, Corona hit us. Ahmaud Arbery happened in February, but the story came out late March. And then we have Breonna Taylor, and then now we're going through George Floyd. Mel, how have you been dealing?
Honestly, it's been difficult for me witnessing Black people in America continue to experience a system that was not set up for us to succeed. That is emotionally taxing. Just going through a spiritual journey of my own under quarantine through a pandemic. So for me, it's really been about centering and trying to find the good parts of myself and of the world, and then also shining a light on the bad parts of the world so that way people can transform them into good parts.
I think I've been feeling the same as everybody else. It's a seesaw, right? Like jumping into the conversation, also taking care of your mental health, and also feeling guilty that you're not, communicating or sharing the information to help the cause. I try to just take solace in what makes me calm down a little bit and just helps me take care of my mental health.
It's a daily battle. You go up, you go down, trying to find solace, always cultivating peace, but really just taking the time to understand our history as a people. We've always been fighting. We've always been going through these battles and these ups and downs. And, the world's taking notice now. And we have to take this moment to collectively move ahead. But it's a struggle for certain.
First of all, shout out to Complex for, the statements that they put out, the media coverage that they've sent, whether it be New York, Chicago, Minneapolis. They've been on the ground. They've been there. They've been making sure that they've had, all of the footage, just covering as much as they can, actually being there, actually being present. But how do we feel about the fact that everyone is now trying to educate themselves? I want to pass that off to Mel.
I like to look at things from an optimistic point of view, but I also like to be honest. So I think it's amazing that companies are standing up and they're finally, speaking out for justice. Because to be real, we've been telling everybody that we're dealing with systematic oppression in America. We've been telling people that there's a colorism issue. We've been telling people that the idea of what professionalism is doesn't really fit within what's natural to Black people and Black women. I'm glad that people are actually taking the time to say wow, you guys, wait, you're really I understand now, and they're speaking up because it's really about time. So I don't necessarily want to condemn companies for waiting for too long. I want to applaud them for doing what they do, but I think what's most important is it doesn't stop here.
To build upon that, Mel, similar to politicians, we have to hold these companies to the fire. In so many levels, they've perpetuated injustices, whether that's environmentally, whether through labor, whether it's through wage gaps, and then again, all the things when it comes to diversity and inclusion. And if they want to hop on the trend now because they don't want to lose profit, okay, well, you want to get your little wake-up call at this moment, but what are you going to continuously do to show us that you really value us, that you support us, and that all of this is really sincere? Because at this moment, me personally, I don't trust it.
All of these people who are woke now, I feel like there is some sort of seeking of validation, right? Am I doing it right? Am I researching enough? Am I talking enough? Am I standing up enough is there a way for them to actually feel valid in this time?
When we want to dive into what the young people are doing, we ask an intern, right? And I think that same thing happens when it comes to Black issues or Black Lives Matter. You will ask like a Black person who's going through, or your Black employee who's going through it. I don't think it's Black people's jobs to really educate these companies on where they need to put their money. They need to give the Black people money to put into the organizations that we already know that are going to benefit from the money.
Yeah, I think that desire to know if they're justified kind of comes from this guilt to ensure that they're doing the part, but kind of like Ashley said, as opposed to putting that on yourself, why don't you put that onto Black people who can actually initiate the change? So I think with that, I agree. It's not Black people's responsibility to educate our non-Black counterparts on what they can be doing. But I think like if I have a friend who, you know, says, hey, is this something that I should be reading? Hey, like what's something that you found insightful? I can find some places in me to help them and to assist them and guide them in the right direction. But I also don't want them to take it personally if myself or any of my other Black friends decide that they don't want to.
Join an organization. If you can't find an organization that does things that you enjoy, then create your own. Don't feel like you have to take on the whole aspect of the struggle just by yourself.
One question I wanted to ask you, back on the sense of, you know, just working at Complex and working during these times, you know, how do you all deal with certain insensitive comments? I know we're in a million Slacks and a million groups, and people have their necessary opinions about things, but they don't necessarily also seem so sensitive. They can be insensitive at times, and they can come across as, you know, mean in some cases. How do you all deal with those when you see those comments?
I don't really have much fear in kind of, depending on the level of it is, because there's levels to this, right? There's levels to microaggressions, there's levels to racial insensitivities, there's levels to all of it. What causes people not to really say something is just that lack of security in like, will I still have my job if I'm dishonest? Will I make any change if I'm this real and I tell somebody about themselves? I personally, you know, like from some examples that I've experienced, you know, like where I've had somebody tell me that like all these Black people I presented kind of look the same. And I'm like, I actually think we should revisit that statement you just said.
If no one ever gets checked, if no one lets you know that this is not okay, how will you know that, oh shoot, that's not okay. I can't say that, I can't do that. How will I learn? So, but check it, please.
I want to kind of direct this question to Ashley because she's one of the few who actually work with upper management, right? Higher execs within the company. And I know that for years, decades, you know, Black people have fought with how to be their most authentic self, right? While working, whether that's, you know, the way they wear their hair or what they choose to wear to work and things like that. And we work at Complex, right? So we're a bit, you know, more chill when it comes to certain things. But I know because Ashley works with, you know, higher execs within the company, that may come with a different standard. How do you feel that you have been able to show your most authentic self at work?
I think that's a tough question just because I think as a Black professional in general, coming to work and being professional, it doesn't always correlate with being Black and being your authentic Black self. There's a version of me that comes to work that, you know, I have to interact with the executives and I have to interact with clients. I want to be able to be in a place for professionally, for corporate to be in a place where we can be authentically 100% Black and not feel as though we're going to be reprimanded for, you know, standing up for ourselves or being 100% Black or saying things that, you know, that are very, very Black. It's a balance between being authentically who I am and also being professional in the workplace.
The word professionalism in America equates to whiteness. It doesn't consider what's natural to Black people. And I think for Black women, especially with our hair, and Black men, we still have a lot of work to do everywhere. You know, I feel fortunate that at Complex, I can challenge myself to be my best self. right? And to be authentically me.
To Mel's point, we must redefine professionalism. We must be uncompromising. Change is inevitable. People walk around in little t-shirts and jeans and that's professional now, then that's what it is. So let's continue, again, to Mel's point, redefine that for Black people as well and other people.
With all of this going on in the world, you know, if there's one thing that Black people have been able to do, and I'm sure they were doing it even in slavery days, that's they find a way to laugh, right? They find a way to make jokes. They find a way to, you know, just brush it off a little bit, just to, you know, take their mind off things and just laugh and kick it. And
that's just what I love about us. Like just staying on social media and seeing the memes, and I even contribute to some of the memes. Like I think that's very important to how we keep going as well. Like as a people, the fact that we can laugh about it and continue and move forward and still fight for what we feel is right and the injustices that we're experiencing, the fact that we can still laugh about it keeps us going. So yeah,
I think it's a testament to how resilient our people are and why I'm so proud to be Black. Like I'm so proud because I think amidst all the challenge that we've gone through, we continue to find a way to just laugh about it and transform through it. And I hate to bring it all spiritual on y'all, but I wouldn't be me if I didn't. In the midst of any challenge, there's transformation and there's growth. And I think because Black people have continuously been put through so many challenges, it's inevitable for us to find a way to get out of that and to find a light. And I love that we do that through humor, and we do that through literally developing this culture that everybody wants a part of. That all came from us going through this challenge of trying to discover our own identities, and in that creating something beautiful that the world wanted to be a part of.
Right. And I just want to thank you all for joining today. I thank you all for, you know, just being here and having this conversation. Another big shout out to Tony and the Life at Complex family for allowing us to do this and have this platform. Thank you all. We greatly appreciate it. And this is Complex Black.